This tutorial is designed to show you how to create UV map and compile a prop, in this case a cube, for Garry's mod or any source game. So to start off, I'm just going to make a box, and you can just drag that out like that. You'll notice how the grid has no relation to any source sizes. So what you're going to have to do is import a model, maybe check the sizes. I know how big things are because I've compiled quite a lot of stuff, so I'm going to make that about that big. That's like a small box, and Garry's mod maybe a little smaller. There we go. And now what we're going to do is we need to texture it. So I'm just going to make a basic texture, but go to the modify tab, modify a list. You want to go to unwrap UVW. Now this lets you unwrap a UV so you can texture it, lets you place all the different faces, and in this case it's a cube, so I'm going to go ahead and click box. You'll notice how some of the 3ds is just kind of put it all together, so I'm going to get the resize tool, going to hold control to keep it locked in aspect. Gonna make sure all the faces are selected. There we go. And I'm just gonna drag these out, and this will do for now. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go to Tools, Render UVW Template, and this allows you to set the size. Because this is a cube, I don't need a high resolution texture. Of course, standard go ahead if it's a larger model, 1024. I'm gonna do 256 for this, and click render. That'll give you a little template. So now I'm gonna go ahead and save that in my folder. This is a simple folder I made. I'm gonna keep all my stuff in here. This is where we're gonna keep our final files in. So I'm going to save this as a PNG. Some people save it as Targa, TGA. I'm going to call that CubeUVW and save. OK. Now I'm going to go ahead and start up my editing program, which will be GIMP. OK, now we've got GIMP open. Go ahead and open your UVW. When you've got that open, we can begin texturing. Generally you want to leave the first layer on top. Select invert. I'm gonna make each face a different color. So I'm gonna start with red, color more red. And what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna do each cube face a different color, just to make it interesting. There we go. Now I'm gonna hide the top layer, or else you're gonna see the lines on the model, especially when it's low res like this. So I'm gonna go ahead and save that as texture. I always save the original UVW just in case. And then back in 3ds, what we're gonna do is press M, and you're gonna select the first ball and go to this little box next to diffuse and bitmap, and then you're gonna go ahead and find it. Right now we've got it. Gonna just click it. You should see it on the little ball. I'm going to click Show Standard Mapping Viewport, drag that on. Now what we're going to do is we're going to go to Create, and on the side there's something called Systems, and we're going to click that, and then there's Bones, and we're going to go into the left view, and we're going to click at the bottom where the grid meets. Click again, just make the bone about that big, then right click, and it'll create 2 bones. 3ds Max sometimes doesn't like you deleting the top bone. We don't need it, but it refuses to acknowledge the bone. I'm going to open the modify panel again, and I'm going to go to physique, and what that modifier does is it allows you to attach an object to a bone. In this case it's going to be a cube to this bottom bone. Okay, so click the little man here, attach to node, and just going to click that bone. Now this little window pops up, blending between links, drop down no blending, and initialize, and there you go. Now you'll notice that when you move the bone, the cube will follow it. I'm gonna save it again, and then what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna export it to a cube folder here. Just gonna make a new folder called compile. Alright, when we're exporting, you're gonna need the SMD export. I'll put a link to it in the description. SMD is files that we use to compile for source. Is just type a name for this. I'm gonna put a reference. I'm gonna click save, and then this window will pop up because it's a reference, because it is the model. We're gonna click export. The first one, don't want sequence, not yet, and we're going to be exported. Now I'm going to export again. Not sure if you still have to do this. I still do it anyway. I'm going to call that idle, and this is just an animation. Just still, you can do it with a reference, but it gets a bit buggy sometimes. So next, what we've got to do is create the phys box, and lucky for us, we've already got a cube right here, and it's a cube, so we don't need to make any special phys box. Yeah, we can just add a modifier to this. I'm gonna add the smooth modifier, and what this does is it's just saying you have to do for phys boxes. We're gonna click 1. Now basically, if you had more than one phys box, say we made another one of these, and this was our second phys box because we had a larger model, a more complex model, what we'd do is we'd untick 1 and set that to 2. So each box you have has to have its own smooth group. You don't want phys boxes too complex because it's a lot of strain on the engine. So this will do for our example. You're going to make sure that you've got a texture applied to it. And we're going to export that as phys for physics, and I'm going to leave it on the first one again. Click OK. Alright, now we've got it all compiled. We're going to go into our folder, and you'll see we've got all the SMDs we need. So next we need to get the QC. Alright, for just to speed things up, I've got a QC from a previous model. I'm just going to call this cube. I'm going to just quickly explain it. I'll probably put this in the description as well. Is where it's going to compile it to and what it's going to be called. So I'm going to put this in a folder called cube, and I'm going to call it Cube.mdl. Body, mybody. This is the ref, so in this case, call it reference. Just going to put that in. This is the main body of the model. Next one is surfaceprop. I'm going to set the carpet. I'm going to put it to metal. You can put it to wood, plastic. Actually, I'm going to put it to plastic. cdmaterials. Usually you put stuff in CD models, then whatever folder. I'm just going to put it cube. I'm just going to check, yeah. Cube of backslash. Sequence idle is idle that we made. Idle, let's leave that. And the phys mass 400. That's pretty heavy. I'm gonna set it to 10. And you want concave in there. Okay, now what we're gonna want is a thing called GUIStudioMDL, and what this does is it allows us to compile our models with a GUI. So I'm gonna open that. Now I've got GUIStudioMDL open. To begin with, you need to configure it, but if you've already ran it before, then it shouldn't need config. Remember, orange box is what you want to use, because I think all the games are set to the this engine now. I think you need the game installed for it, and in some cases you need to run SDK. So I'm gonna load the QC. and now I've gone to our folder, which is Cube. Gonna load that. This is loaded. You're gonna click just compile, and what it's gonna do now is it's gonna compile a model. It should be pretty fast because it's simple, and it's completed. Now you can just open Steam. Right, now it's open and loaded. We're gonna go to the library and we're gonna open our source SDK. It's gonna be tools, so I'm just gonna open that. Launch. Alright, now it's open. I'm gonna go to model viewer, and this is just to so I can show you the model, showing it has compiled. There you go. I'm gonna go to load model, and there's a folder called Cube that we made, so open that and you'll see our cube, and you'll notice it's untextured. That doesn't matter because we're going to do that now. If you go to our folder, and we've got our textures here, we just need that one, of course, not the UV. We're going to open the VTFEdit. Okay, we're just going to open our texture and click OK, and it'll load our texture. And we can click save as and save that here. Mazel. You gotta call it the same as it was, so cube UVW texture without the PNG, of course. Alright, now what we've got to do is put this inside our Half-Life 2 materials, models, and the cube folder. Alright, now we've got Half-Life 2 materials, models. I'm gonna create a new folder called cube, and the reason for this is because in our QC, which we have here, if I open that up, you're gonna notice that we put our materials, cdmaterials cube in models. And that's what this is. This is our directory. So just gonna copy our texture across the VTF, and now we're gonna need a VMF. For this example, I just got copied another one, because I can't be able to write one out. You gotta call this exactly the same as the VTF. Make sure you do, because a lot of errors because of that. You get the name wrong. Vertex lit generic, and base texture models, and just gonna say some models cube, and then cube UVW texture, and don't put anything at the end of it. Make sure these are all the same, because any of these like wrong, then you're not gonna get, it's not gonna show up. So now we've done that, open model view again, refresh, and then we've got a colored cube with two blues. Okay, now we've done that, we can pretty much just put this into Gmod. Okay, for this example, just go into Garry's Mod add-ons, make a folder called cube. In this case I've copied another prop. It's pretty simple. Basically, materials model. Just put stuff you'd normally put. So in this case, just gonna put. Oops. Okay, I'm just gonna put my cube folder. I'm gonna copy it across from the Half-Life 2 folder into the Garry's Mod materials folder. So it's exactly the same path. At least the end bit is the important part. Models, and now you're gonna go into Half-Life 2 models, and you've got to find your cube, which should be in a folder called cube. Put that in. Okay, now we're gonna go to you can change the info. Settings, spawn list. This is how we're gonna spawn it. We're gonna collect cube. Now open that up. Name of it is what you see when you hover over it. I'm going to call it cube, and make sure this fits with your folders. save that, and now it's ready for Garry's mod, and we go in there and we can spawn it.